Hello and welcome to episode number 4 of the Fit Without the Fuss podcast. My name is Luke Melville. I'm an online transformation coach. And as always, I'm joined by sports massage therapist and coach, Darren Carroll. Darren, welcome to episode 4.
How are we doing, Luke? How are you doing today?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. It's been a busy start to the week. Just finished a group call with my clients actually, which was a good one. And yeah, I've heard that you've had a busy day as well, finishing late.
Mondays are always a busy one for me. Everyone's keen to get in, get treated, kick the week off well, and then hopefully get them back to training as soon as possible. So,
Nice. Yeah, nice one. So yeah, just before we jump in, if you guys have any questions, please post them in the comment section below, and me and Darren will answer them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a look and see if there was any questions from the last episode. We did actually just release it a couple of days ago, so there probably isn't any questions at this point. But what we'll do is from what we episode 4 now, so episode 5 will be the last recorded, and then episode 6 we will be going live, okay? And you guys will get plenty of notice before that live, okay? You'll get 4 weeks notice with that one. So in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the 5 or the big 5 compound movements, okay? Now, Darren's going to share his top 5 compound movements, and I'm going to share my top 5. There are a couple that obviously are the same, but there are a few different movements, okay? So this should be really interesting for you. Darren, I think safe to say we'll both start off with the first one of squats.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's the big one, or one of the big ones. But what's interesting, obviously, we spoke beforehand. I think our rationale and reasonings are different and apply to different people, but both just as valid as each other.
Definitely.
So that's what's going to make the conversation quite interesting today, why we are picking these exercises.
Yeah, definitely.
As trainers, I think we should always have a reason for why we give someone a particular exercise. We should be justifying everything we do, not just throwing exercises at people and going, right, there's a plan, off you go.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, starting off with the squat, I'll go into the main couple of reasons for me, but a compound movement is basically a multi sort of muscle movement, really. It's using mainly the full body. This is why it's called compound movement. It's just compounding all the muscles together. The squats are I think a staple for any gym program, obviously, allowing that you can obviously functionally move, squat, pain free, and obviously you can touch into that in a second. But yeah, the squats itself, if you've got the weight on the back, for example, even holding a weight, a lot of your back's being used, your core strength, glutes, the prime muscles. And then you can also, stances, do you go wide leg? Do you go close leg? There's also squat machines as well. And we'll touch into that in a second, sort of rating body weight, squat on your own versus a machine. But in terms of the squat, I think it's a must in a program. And yeah, I really think that you should be trying to get stronger on those squats. What do you think about squats, Darren?
So squats, I think, are hugely valuable. I come from my training from maybe a slightly different perspective. So in context, as a majority, my training clients are 40, 50, 60, and even 70. So I'm looking at their daily abilities and functions. So a squat, we all know people who, when they sit down on the sofa, or when they stand up from the sofa, they make a sound. They can't sit down or stand up pain-free. Well, you're sitting down and standing up, that's squatting. And this is something we're doing day in, day out, multiple times a day. So like I say, it is something we should be practicing, because I believe, you shouldn't be groaning and moaning every time you sit down and stand up from the sofa. So that's my validation for why most of my clients are doing some variation of squat. Yeah. And going back to what you just said, there's so many variations of squats. A lot of people, when they see squat in a training program, they're thinking powerlifters, they're thinking of barbell, they're thinking stacks of plates, they're thinking that one rep maximum effort. Well, sometimes a squat can be as simple as, right, just sit down on the chair and stand back up. Let's just make that a comfortable movement. I've got some clients who are squatting empty-handed. Squatting is quite high. Their knees aren't bending at all. But progressively, as they get stronger, we get them sitting down low and just improve that squat.
Yep.
And again, it's just all about giving them that day-to-day function, that pain-free living. So,
no, absolutely. And then just comparing like the body weight to the machines, I think the machines are really good in a bodybuilding context, especially if you want to, sort of, not really isolate, but because if you do a squat machine, you're still using all the leg muscles. But if you want to, especially in terms of like your stance, how close your legs are, if you go wide stance, close stance for more, sort of quad activation. Obviously, the wider your stance is, the more glutes and hamstrings. So yeah, I think there's probably a time and place if you are building muscle to go through some squat machines of maybe narrow, then switch up your stance to wide, but then also getting back to those, the normal body weight movement, how you naturally move.
Yep.
I think it's good to rotate those. And I think the main thing for the squats is this really does knock into all your other leg movements. So if you get stronger at your squats,
Absolutely, yeah.
Leg press will go up, leg extension will probably go up, hamstring curls, all those types of things.
Yeah. And then in a rehab sense, as you mentioned, squats are demanding, they work in the whole of the body. So if I am training someone who has a particular weakness around, say, the hips or the ankles, or maybe even the knees, a machine is going to be a great way for me to get them working the legs with even just components of the squat to then progress to the squat. So in the past, I've had people I've had to go and just work on their hamstrings and their glutes on their own with, say, a leg curl and some form of glute bridge to then allow them to then be able to squat. So even like your leg curl and your leg extension are hugely valuable leg machines for your squat ability under certain circumstances. So as you say, everything feeds into each other. Nothing is mutually exclusive. So
no, 100%. So that's the first one then. So squats for the the first big compound movement. What would you put as your second one, Darren?
So I'm sticking with lower body. So I'm looking at a deadlift.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly the same for me, to be honest, with the deadlifts. I think we'll just touch into those deadlifts quickly. When would be the right sort of stage for you to introduce a deadlift into, say, a client's program? Because I know deadlifts are quite technical, aren't they?
So same with squats.
Yeah.
There's lots of different progressions. So I will regress, and we would start with something as simple as what we call the hip hinge, which is essentially bending over from your hips and not your back. So I might spend 4 weeks just teaching someone how to safely and comfortably do that.
Is that a bit like an RDL, like a stiff leg deadlift kind of thing?
Yeah, pretty much that. For a lot of people, that's a skill that has to be learned. They're not that great at it. So, and again, in terms of my validation, I don't necessarily call it a deadlift with some people. I might call it, let's safely pick something up.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, again, the same with squats, there's a lot of fear around the name deadlift. So we need to just try and almost disassociate just to make people feel that bit more comfortable.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think in terms of like a muscle building program, deadlifts are probably not essential. And there'll be a load of people that would agree with me. There'll probably be a load of people that would disagree with me on that one. But in terms of like bodybuilding, muscle building, deadlifts are not essential in the program. However, I would say for the clients that, and for the guys out there that are looking to build strength specifically, I think the deadlift is very important. But the only thing is, and obviously you'd agree with me, Darren, is that you must perfect the form first before you push up the weights. A lot of people obviously bump that weight up quickly. It's an ego thing, make your boys deadlifting next to me. Let's put some weights on. And people don't like to be seen deadlifting, basically, just the bar. Because they think, but the reality is that no one cares. Okay. No one's going to go home and go, oh, that person next to me was deadlifting nothing. Like no one cares what you're lifting. So once you get that in your head and you're confident in the gym, go in there, practice with really light weights and get that form right.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather see a good deadlift than a heavy, bad deadlift.
Heavy.
I mean, my eyes light up because I see a potential client when they bust their back. I'd rather see a deadlift executed well. And I'll happily, if I see someone deadlift well, I will tell them. And
I think for beginners, I think the deadlift is a lot of people overthink the form because there are a load of technical points. I think, especially when people come over, that they'll probably show you the form. They'll probably tell you about 4 or 5 cues that you'll forget as soon as they've stopped talking. And it's little things as well, especially when you get to like an intermediate advanced stage of your training. And it'll be interesting to hear your view on this. is that when you first start, obviously, you're focusing on a straight back. You really want to sit into it
Yeah.
and activate the glutes as you lift. You want to be thinking of, almost the floor is like a leg press, and you're just keeping the back straight, chest up as you come up.
Yeah.
But as you get to an intermediate advanced, the back, it doesn't stay straight. There is a slight curve as the weight gets heavier, and it's still safe. But I think a lot of people probably worry about that. And I think it'll be good in this video for you to talk about, at the back as you progress, as you get stronger
Yeah.
in the deadlift.
Yeah. So if we look at deadlifts, again, this is what we said about the squat. We're at 1 rep max, that maximum effort, head jerking, blood vessels bursting.
Yeah.
A lot of people have that fear around a deadlift, and they think that's what a deadlift is.
Mm.
Well, again, we touched on this in the past. If I'm getting someone to deadlift or hip hinge, I've got them doing 4 or 5 sets of 15 to 20 reps. Now, it sounds a lot, but I'm going to get you as quick as possible, really, really skilled. Because I want to see 15 reps that look exactly the same. Then I will start to put some weight on it. Again, that's just me being safe, and I want you to feel safe doing them, and also you feel confident in what you're doing. Yeah. That's one of the biggest things with deadlifts. You've got to feel confident.
Yeah.
If you don't feel safe, you probably won't be.
No.
But then if we look at the other extreme, like the people getting stronger, and as you say, we're starting to see rounded backs. I was there when Thor pulled 510 last year.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah, and it was huge. His back was rounded. And again, like you say, all those top guys, their backs are slightly rounded. But what happens is, although their backs are rounded when they lift, the back does not become more rounded.
It still stays fixed, doesn't it? The lower to mid back is still,
they're in control.
Yeah.
Whereas lots of people, their back rounds, that's because they have lost control.
Yeah.
But again, Thor, as a perfect example, his back was slightly rounded, but that was where he was at his strongest.
Yeah.
He was 100% in control of his spine in that lift.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's when people haven't got the spine control, that's where the risk exists. And that, again, that's where egos have got ahead of their bodies.
Yeah. And
that's where you're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Hurt yourself. So,
yeah. No, 100%. So yeah, deadlifts is on the list for both of us.
Yep.
They are a big movement, really good for you. I think if you can start off slow, like Darren was saying, and just progress up nice and slowly, there'll be such a great exercise for you long term.
I mean, go on.
No, I was just going to say the benefits long term to deadlifting for even light is good, isn't it?
I was going to say that you will be deadlifting for life. I once had a client 5-6 years ago. She hurt herself every time she bent over to empty the dishwasher.
Oh wow!
Well, our fix was getting her to deadlift. So now we stopped working together because she moved away. By the time we finished working together, I think she was deadlifting 60 or 70 kilos.
Nice.
So she probably could have deadlifted the dishwasher herself, let alone empty. But that's how valuable the deadlift is. And that, like at 80 years old, I still want to be able to go and pick stuff up without hurting myself.
Yeah.
And
so
I think
it's all that functionality.
I'm sure everyone else has the same attitude.
Yeah.
Which is why the deadlift done well is such a valuable tool.
Yeah. And if you get stronger at it at the gym, all the other stuff you're picking up at home is so much lighter. So you're not going to pull you back.
And that's the beauty of the gym. You can create that safe environment to practice these things.
Yeah.
So that's what the gym is for. Let's make it safe for you.
Yeah.
Where you can go and practice and learn this skill, not go and practice that massive box that's in the garage that needs moving.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. We'll go on to number 3. I'll go on to my number 3. I don't know if it's on your one. My one is some kind of bench press.
Okay, that's cool. So that's not actually one of my 5, but you go ahead. You talk about it because it's something you value. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean, coming from like a bodybuilding type background, I think a bench press for me was quite important. I'm not a traditional like barbell bench press type of guy. I don't really like the barbell. For me, for me to do it, I would need to do it mid to end session. Otherwise, I just feel all shoulders at the start. So I don't. But with the dumbbells, you can kind of angle them slightly to your positioning as you're pressing, and I quite like that free sort of range of movement there. You can obviously do these flat, incline, decline, it doesn't really matter. A dumbbell press or a barbell press I think is really beneficial. I think what it does is when I see someone, especially lifting heavy weights but with control, I see it as an art, as a skill. You know, it requires technique, balance, coordination,
Yeah.
and you know, to control, you know, weights coming down to your chest and to keep the body still, nice and tight, core tight, and to press up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's a really good skill. I
No,
think,
I agree. I think
yeah,
seeing anyone lift something heavy is brilliant, especially when there is that slow control technique because they've done the work, and I
mm,
see it as they've earned the right to do that.
yeah, yeah,
Whereas
yeah,
some
yeah.
people, they're lifting heavy weights,
Mm,
they haven't earned the right to do it because they're not safe, they're not controlled. And so, you know what? You don't deserve to be lifting that yet. Go back,
yeah.
work at the right level, and in time, be patient and get your nutrition, get your diet, get all sleep, get all those things right.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
will
yeah.
earn that right, but go away and earn it first.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I also do want to stress, obviously, it's not just heavyweights. I'm not talking about the 50s, 60s, 70s pressing. I mean, it does look impressive, obviously. But, you know, even the guys lifting, you know, 20s, the 30s, you know, even if you're in the
Yeah,
40s, you know, especially with that good control. And for me, when I press, and you probably see this on my Instagram, especially the incline Smith machine, which is another one,
yeah,
but I do it with the dumbbells, is a nice slow control down, a pause at the weighted stretch position, and then a fast press up. And then when I come to the top, I pause at the top as well to focus on the squeeze. Yeah, and I just find that movement, you know, adjusting to the incline as
yeah.
well to switch it up. I just think it's a good compound that everyone, especially in a muscle building sense as well, should
Oh
definitely
yeah,
do,
yeah,
and definitely progress your numbers nice and slow
yeah.
with that as
Certainly,
well.
where physique is concerned, it's a huge
Yeah,
exercise.
yeah, yeah.
Physique isn't so works so much that I do,
Hmm.
so hence that's the only reason it's not on my list.
Yeah,
So,
no, that's fine. So
otherwise,
yeah,
like
I
I
would
say,
go with bench press. What would you go for number three?
um, mine would be an overhead press.
Oh, okay, interesting. Why is
Now,
that?
a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
I've spent my time doing strongman training.
Mm,
So, where in strongman, bench press is very rarely there, where
yeah.
overhead press is obviously a staple of the sport.
Yeah.
But again, with my whole perspective of training and that longevity and well-being in life,
Mm,
I think it's really important that you can manage weight overhead. Now, whether that's lifting a box to put it on top of a wardrobe or it's
mm,
lifting a box down from the wardrobe, again, that's a skill that I would like people to be able to retain for as long as possible.
mm.
So any form of pressing, whether it's a bar, whether it's dumbbells, whether it's one arm, two arm, they're
Machines,
all of
whatever it is.
value.
Yeah.
But again, with the overhead press, like we talked about with the squat and with the deadlift, it's that core stability, that core integration, that whole body work
Mm.
to give us that skill for outside the gym.
Yeah, yeah. So it with the barbell military press, which is basically you're standing upright with a bar and you're just standing up and the bar goes above your head. With that movement, I used to have a lot of people that used to get back problems doing that movement, and obviously they probably had a weak back. So if you're wanting to do this movement and give it a try, or maybe put it in your program, again, you need to start light because some people's backs are so arched. There's actually a lot of pressure, isn't there, going through the spine already?
Yeah, and again, you'll find a lot of it is lack of shoulder mobility. So if I come around to the side,
Mm,
a lot of people cannot fully extend up and back. A lot of
mm.
people get stuck there, and so they arch the back to
Yeah,
achieve that
yeah,
vertical arm.
that's true.
So for some people, I've got to start with an incline bench press and progressively get that bench steeper,
Oh, nice. Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
utilize things like dumbbell pullovers to
Mm,
open up the lats and
yeah.
actually get the shoulders more mobile to be
Mm,
able to overhead press.
nice. Yeah.
So
Just a quick one on the pullovers. Are they a good movement for mobility, or
yes,
would you say
yep,
yeah?
because they if we think about this, as your arm goes back,
Yeah.
ignore the shoulder, but think about the shoulder blade.
Yeah. Yeah.
The shoulder blade has got to learn to come away from the spine.
Okay.
So we're getting a really good stretch. And I find lots of people are very tight through the rhomboids and through the lats,
Yeah.
which restricts their any form of pressing pretty much.
Mm, yeah.
So yeah, the pullovers are a great way of both stretching but also strengthening in that stretch position. So really good for mobility.
Nice one. Yeah.
So
Yes. That
I
might
have
be
a
worth.
lot of people doing pullovers.
Yeah. Nice one. I was going to say that's definitely worth the guys doing some of those just to warm up before you go over to the shoulder press. That massively help
Absolutely,
you out.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've got loads of guys doing it before chest press as well. just to
Yeah.
get
Oh,
those,
nice one. Yeah, yeah, of
just
course.
to get the
Yeah.
scapula more mobile.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's a really good shout. Number four for me,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you'll have this one, but this is a some kind of row, some kind of dumbbell or barbell row for me.
So again, I haven't, interestingly.
What have you gone for number four? Just out of curiosity.
So I've actually gone with a carry.
A carry, interesting. Yeah, we'll start
Carry,
off with you
yes.
actually then. So why have you picked carry?
So again, maybe it's a little bit of my strongman bias,
Yeah.
but and again, there's one of the cool things of the sport of strongman
Yeah.
is challenging real life in some ways. So
Mm.
essentially, we've seen guys pick up a massive sandbag or a massive stone, either lift it onto a platform or walk and run with it.
Mm.
And again, that's life. So we all walk, we all run, but we also carry things. So again, I will have people that do farmers carries, carrying weight in both hands. Sometimes I do a suitcase carry where they're carrying just one hand and building that core stability. But again, with the carry, it's another whole body exercise, but we're moving with it as well. So we've got to learn to stabilize, control the core, but be able to move at the same time, whether that's walking or a light jog or walking backwards.
Mm.
It's something like a sled drag almost, not quite carry, but dragging a sled or pushing a sled.
Yeah.
I think they are very, very valuable skills. So very easy one is just being really good at carrying the shopping home.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's as simple as
there's
that, isn't
nothing more
it?
masculine than carrying 5 bags of shopping in each hand.
Yeah.
So
Oh, definitely, definitely. Nice one. Yeah. I mean, I would go with some kind of row.
yeah,
And again, this can be quite flexible, a heavy dumbbell row, a barbell bent over row. There's also things I don't know if you guys have heard of, pendlay rows, which is basically in a bent over position, but the bar's on the floor and you keep in almost like a 90-degree angle, don't you? And then you just row to your chest and
yeah.
down.
So Pendlays I use a lot myself.
Yeah, they're really good. I quite like those. T-bar rows is another one. So obviously the bar coming through your legs. But yeah, I always believe, having that heavy compound on a row, especially if you're muscle building, and obviously, if you're natural doing this, which, I hope you are, especially with the barbell bent over rows, I think that just adds that next layer of like thickness and strength in the back. I think a lot of people, I don't see a lot of people, doing a compound row. I always see people on the seated row
Yeah,
machine.
it's
I
lots
always
of
see,
machines these days.
yeah,
Yep.
lots of machines. And it almost, I look around and think no one's training their back like heavy. And I mean, maybe loads of people are actually scared to overload their back. I'm not sure. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
mean,
believe you should have that
yeah, I
back
mean, where
compound
I'm
on there.
here, there's a lot of people doing bent over rows still in the
Yes, it
traditional
depends on the
sense,
gym, obviously, as well.
which
Yeah.
is great. But again, I think machines are easier on
Yeah.
people, less taxing, especially
Yeah.
with things like CNS.
Yeah, I guess so.
The
Yeah.
exercises we've talked about, particularly obviously the way we work with them. You and I probably don't challenge people's central nervous systems so much, which you're going
Mm.
to with those 5 reps and below.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you're doing big compound exercises are tiring.
Mm.
So that's the beauty of the machines. You can work the same muscle
Yeah.
without that whole body fatigue,
Yeah.
which
That's true.
some people will choose to have the fatigue and they want
Mm.
that exhaustion of
Yeah.
a bent over row, which is going to challenge your lower back and your glutes as well.
Yeah.
Some people will jump on a machine and really just focus on the upper back and really get into those rhomboids. But
Yeah. More of like
of
isolation,
course,
isn't it?
so
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. I think getting those in. And number five for me is actually pull-ups. I've gone for pull-ups. Now, being honest, actually, before when I was writing my five down, I put squats, deadlifts, bench press, a barbell row, and I was thinking about the fifth, and I couldn't think. And it was, if I'm being honest, it was between the pull-ups and tricep dips, if I'm being totally honest.
yeah, okay, cool.
Both pull-ups and tricep dips, I think, if your obviously strength increases over time, good to use weighted belts with those, good like strength
Sorry.
progressions. Even assisted pull-up machines, if you're first starting, you can use resistance bands, etc. But I believe pull-ups, if you can master pull-ups, I think that will change your back shape. Your back will look very good. And also in terms of strength, it does massively help with other movements, even things like deadlifts, your squats, because don't forget the lats, and you'd agree with this, Darren, the lats are huge muscles running from the shoulder joint all the way into the lower back. And if you can get those strong, and obviously, you're doing your other back movements as well, I think there's such good movement for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's we do see people fail squats and deadlifts because of a lat issue.
Right.
And again, a lot of people can't squat under a bar
Mm.
because the lat issue, they cannot get the bar on the back.
Yeah,
So
mobility. Yeah,
yeah, that's for a huge muscle.
yeah, yeah.
So
So yeah, that was one that yeah, that sort of won me over between tricep dips. People could probably shout out, why didn't I say the military press? For me though, over the years of lifting, I never actually. I mean, I don't know if you'll be shocked by this or not. I've not probably done shoulder press in my training for the last 3 years. I've not done any shoulder
okay,
pressing.
that's cool.
And the only reason why is because shoulder press is predominantly a lot of front delt. And for
Yep,
me, because I do a flat and an incline press, plus I do tricep dips,
yep.
I don't see any value in my training in overloading the front delt and doing a
See,
press. So I've not done
I
them for years.
I definitely share your viewpoint in not overlaying the front delts. I think they're way overtrained.
Yeah, yeah,
And everyone I treat has tight front delts.
yeah.
So I see, I don't like to see people front raise.
No, like front raises don't do either. No,
Again,
no.
if you're doing so much pressing, you
There's
don't
just no
need
need,
many.
is there?
You don't
No.
need many presses in your training cycle per week to
Yeah,
develop your front delts.
yeah, literally,
I
yeah.
think it very quickly becomes overkill. And again, from my perspective as a therapist,
Mm.
um, front delts and pecs are overdeveloped compared to the back, and
Mm.
that's why I see so many shoulder problems. In that people are so developed but tight here and sort of
Yeah,
rounded in. But what that does is that makes the whole of the back tight, but it's tight because it's stretched.
yeah. It's
Now
a massive imbalance, isn't it?
we're now all rolled in. Your shoulders are sat so far forward they
Mm.
can't function properly.
Yeah.
And now any pressing or pulling is going to be painful because you've developed your shoulders into the wrong place.
So that affects things like what scapular retraction and rotation as
Yeah,
well. Yeah,
yeah. So if you're like that, your rhomboids are in a permanent stretch,
yeah, yeah,
and then you're trying to do a row
yeah. Yeah, no,
where
I was thinking about that the other day because you mentioned it in the last one. Was like when people are bench pressing, they can't obviously set up right because they have a weakness, or
yeah,
I think that's what you said in the rhomboids, wasn't it?
yeah, that's it.
When people are rowing, I suddenly thought that when people are rowing, they're probably not getting full range of motion on their back squeeze, are they?
No, and backs are really interesting. I
Yeah,
think if you you can take 10 of your clients,
yeah,
get them to do a bench press really slowly, and they
mm,
got really good dexterity, really good skill, really good control. Get them to do a bent over row, they will not be as smooth and skillful because we have not across the back got the same skill set as we have pressing.
yeah. That's a good
And
point. Yeah, that's a really good point.
again, for whatever reason that is, whether that's because people are training chest one day, shoulders the next, but
Mm,
only training back once a day, there's that imbalance. So I mean, you obviously you're talking about physique coaching. Now, traditional physique coaching, you're going to have a chest day, a shoulder day, and a back day in your week.
mm,
Well, from a that's a 2-to-1 ratio potentially.
yeah, yeah,
Well, from a therapist point of view, and what we consider a more healthy, holistic training program, you would do at least twice as much pulling as you would pressing,
Oh, interesting.
because, like I said, we want to see the shoulders back here, not forward.
Yeah.
That is much healthier for me than that will be. Yeah,
What? So
all the bodybuilding training programs
yeah,
are achieving that.
yeah, yeah.
So
So in theory, then, is that we should be doing two back sessions to every one, well, two pull sessions to every one push?
um,
Is that we should
I
be
would
doing
look at
that
it
because
more.
of the
Yeah.
imbalance, or we should be doing that in general anyway?
So in my programming,
Yeah,
let's say I'm programming someone for a healthy body.
yeah.
I might give them 4 sets of pressing in a week.
Okay.
They're going to do 8 sets of pulling.
Right. Okay.
So I look at it as a number of. I use number of sets
Yeah.
is my measure, not actual number of workouts. It's just total
Yeah.
number of sets through the training cycle.
Yeah.
For someone healthy, I'm going to look at twice as much. But when I talk about back compared to pressing, obviously pressing is going to be chest and shoulders. Maybe
Yeah.
you can argue dips in there. So chest, shoulders, triceps. My back is going to include my pull downs, my rows, my reverse flies, my hip hinges or high extensions. So I've actually
Mm.
got a lot more back movements I can utilize to play that 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 ratio.
Yeah. And what? Even deadlifts as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a back exercise.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is with obviously the deadlifts and heavy rows is there's a lot of like trap pulling and stretching of the back. Does that make it
Yes.
worse for the chest?
Worse for the chest.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, worse. Sorry, yeah.
Uh, no, if anything, what's going to happen is I think if you have a stronger back,
Hmm.
you're probably going to have a stronger press. Because
Yeah,
when you're on bench
yeah.
press, you have much greater, probably going to be much more stable to press
Hmm.
because you're much more skilled and controlled around the shoulder blades
Yeah.
than if you weren't doing your rows.
Yeah, that's true. And obviously core strength is, you can lock in the core strength a
Yeah.
lot more, can you, and stuff like that. Yeah, no, that's fine. So yeah, those were my five. And what was your last one, Darren?
So my last one was actually some people might not like this, running.
Running. Nice. Why have you picked running for your top
So
five?
again, running is again going back to that ability and skill set of the human body.
Yeah.
So we have been designed and we've evolved that we can run. And I think it's something that should be practiced because I think a lot of people are very tight through the hips, through the lower back. Even those who train with a good range of motion, they're nice and flexible in their squats. There's certain things they're missing. So it's things like running. When you run, your knee comes forward ahead of you. So you're training hip flexion. Nobody trains hip flexion.
Mm.
That landing on one leg, that explosive power, that doesn't get touched on enough. I mean, I will talk to people like I see the run as effectively a dynamic lunge.
Yeah, I was going to say lunges. Yeah.
It's just it is a dynamic lunge, but
Just a
again,
light
it's a
lunge.
skill that, for me personally, I don't want to lose.
Yeah.
So as it goes back a couple of years, I was a bit heavier, about 15 kilos heavier. We were out walking, um, playing around with with my cousins or nephews, sorry,
Mm.
running around, and man, was I lumbering and just awkward. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I've run. But that running has transferred into better squats, better deadlifts. My lower back pain is minimal now, if at all.
Yeah.
It's done so much for the health of my hips and lower body and lower
Nice.
back that it's got to be in there for me.
And
Now,
also the cardiovascular side of it, because that allows you to do
huge, yeah.
extra sets on those high volume reps
Yes.
sets as well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
So
that's
it
it. My
plays into that.
fitness for a 15 rep set is so much better for running
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Nice.
And again,
Yeah.
when I say running, this goes, one thing I need to make clear is I don't ask people to go for a 5K run. It's
Yeah.
more, I just want you to have the skill to run.
Mm.
So my minimal that I want to get clients to is 30 seconds off. 30 seconds of running, 30 seconds off. If you can do that in 5 rounds, we tick the box of your skill to run. So I'm looking purely at the skill set of running.
Nice.
Then if the client chooses, I fancy doing a 5K, we'll work to that.
Yeah.
But if they just want to be able to run, then great, that's it. And again, it's one of those things where I don't want to get to the day when I can't run.
Yeah.
I think for me personally, that's a very sad day when I'm not able to run.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am working now to prevent that day from happening.
Nice. Yeah,
So
that's
again,
really good. It helps
one of the
like all aspects, doesn't it?
Yeah. So one of the phrases I say with all my 5, so the squat, the overhead press, the deadlift, the carry, and the run, they're all of my staples because I like to talk about future proofing people.
Nice. Yeah.
Let's do all these things and let's keep you as strong, safe, and secure for as long as we possibly can.
Yeah.
And the more you stay disciplined and practice them, the safer, stronger, and more secure you will be later in life. So
definitely longevity. No, it's good stuff.
Yeah,
really good.
But again, that's my angle on training. So your angle is physique, which is
nice
why
one. Yeah, definitely.
Different lists. Sorry, we got different lists, and that's why this conversation was interesting because we're coming at it from 2 different aspects.
Yeah,
there's actually some nice crossovers, and neither of us are wrong. We're both right. We're just coming in with different validations.
Yeah, no, 100%. No, yeah, I'd agree with that. I think as well, in terms of like the compounds, I think they're crucial to have in your program.
Yeah.
If you're building muscle or strength, whatever it is, keep them in there, and really try and keep these consistent every single week. What I would, a tip for you guys is see if you can just pick the compound movement that you like and enjoy, because then you'll stick with it for longer. So if you don't like a barbell bent over row, but you do like a single dumbbell row, do that one. If you don't like deadlifts, but you prefer like an RDL, do the RDL. If you don't like barbell squats, but you prefer lunges, do lunges. I mean, lunges is another compound we could have picked. Barbell
Oh
or
yeah.
dumbbell lunges, Bulgarian
Oh yeah.
split
Yeah.
squats. Even more challenging. There's
We could have
loads.
come up with 20 essentials
Yeah, yeah,
easily.
absolutely. Yeah, there's loads. But yeah, it was really interesting to go on. If you guys have any questions on those, by the way, drop them in the comment section below and we'll answer those. So yeah, Darren, we're just going to go into the quick tip for this week. I'll let you go first. What was yours?
So mine was, yeah. So when you with your programming, priorities. So if there is something you need to work on, you think is essential, do it first. So, for example, we traditionally see exercise programs. We've been talking about compounds today. People will typically do compounds first, and then you do your more what we call isolations after.
Hmm.
Well, sometimes I've got to flip that on its head. So, if I'm rehabbing someone, I may have to focus on isolation first. So, typically, quite often, I've got to focus on knee issues. So, I
Okay.
might focus on a seated leg curl. By doing that and focusing on improving that knee function, that my client can then better squat thereafter.
Nice.
So there will be times where I change priority of what an exercise is.
Yeah.
But again, that is in the program. So the priority is the first exercise. As we go through the workout, the less I prioritize them, the further down the list they are. And
Nice.
that is allowed to change. And that is up to you and or your trainer.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. My tip would be for this week would be make sure you know where your next win is coming from. And obviously, for a sort of training view on this, it's basically, looking at your gym program. And if you're taking the gym seriously or thinking about taking the gym seriously, you need to make sure you're jotting down these exercises. If you're not tracking your lifts, an extra little side tip for you is just to track just one lift. Just track your compound lifts. That's it. Okay. If you are struggling to, track all your workouts, but there are apps out there now. They're easily done. And what you need to do is you need to look at your session before you start and look at those numbers. When you look at those numbers, you know what to beat. If you don't look at those numbers, I guarantee you'll either lift the same or you'll probably regress without even knowing. So it's really important that you just have a quick glance at your program before you train and think, right, am I going up 1.25 kg, those small little plates? Am I going up a rep today? Whatever it is, but see if you can get that extra little progression on your lift. So yeah, have a look at your plan and have a look and think, right, what am I progressing? You might look at barbell squats from last week and go, that was a tough set for 8 reps last week. That was really tough. So, your main aim this week might be, let's just see if I can get that again. If I can maintain that again, that's a win. And I mean, Darren, for you, I've been stuck on some lifts for 4, 6, 8 weeks of literally the same weights. But the thing is, because I've continued them, I've actually then gone up, and then I've gone up quite a bit afterwards because I've then found a new base. So
that's it. Remember that your training is just the stimulus.
Yeah.
So you go in the train, you stimulate the body, you then rest and recover. But in that rest and recovery, your body is adapting.
Yeah.
So you've repeated it, you've hit it with those squats for that same weight for 3-4 weeks. Now the body's had to say, crap, I need to get stronger so I can go. That gets easier. Your body wants everything to be easy. That's its goal. So it doesn't like training, but it wants training to be easier. So when you lift something heavy, you do that consistently enough, you get more muscle. That weight then becomes easier for the body. That's essentially what you're trying to stimulate to happen. But then we choose to lift heavier again.
Yeah.
And then we stimulate the body to grow some more, and that way it becomes easier. And that's essentially that's essentially what we're trying to do. We're trying to make what was heavy easy on repeat.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think even for the guys that have been stuck on the same weight for a while, a lot of people would turn around and go, "Oh no, you're plateauing." But I now have a new view on that and probably say, "Well, no, you're not plateauing. You need to keep pushing on those numbers because your body is now adjusting to that heavy weight you're doing." And a lot of people would revert you off the program, put you on something new, and it's like, no, you've just spent 8 weeks just getting there. If in theory, you need to spend 8 weeks now on this hard stage. In theory, don't you?
That's it. Yeah, the body takes time to adapt.
Yeah.
Remember, it's not just the muscle; it's the tendons as well.
That's true.
Now, your tendons is where a lot of your strength is coming from and where the power is generated. Now, your tendons will take anywhere between 8 to 12 weeks longer to adapt than the muscle.
Wow.
So you might be stuck where you were stuck on that same weight for 3 months. You might have just been waiting for your tendons to adapt.
Yeah.
Now they've adapted. Suddenly you've got a whole lease of power.
Yeah.
You've had to go through the process of just allowing the tendons to adapt.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. Just one last question for you as well. What's your view on sort of switching up a compound movement for a like for like? So, for example, say I was doing deadlifts for a while, and then I introduced a new program doing RDLs instead, then going back to deadlifts. That type of training where you're just switching. Yep. Is that valuable for people?
I think so, yeah.
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 Instead of just doing the same exercise all the time, basically.
Yeah. Obviously, a conversation has to be had with the client. Why? Yes, just change for the sake of giving a different stimulus is really valuable. Sometimes it's just, but at the same time, if you're on a good run, a good progression of something, stick at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's a good one. Nice one. Yep. No, that's cool. That's all from us in this episode. The links to our social media and websites are in the description below, so make sure you check that out. If you've made it this far into the video, make sure you drop a like. Me and Darren would both really appreciate it. And if you want your questions answered, make sure you fire them in the comment section below. We'll get to them in the next episode. Any last words, Darren? Are you all good?
I am good.
Yeah, all good.
It was fun tonight. It's an interesting one.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. And we've got a couple of different topics that we're going to cover in the next few weeks. I think our next episode is going to be the last recorded, and then we're actually going to go live. So it'll be really interesting when you guys are watching too, and seeing your comments as we go. So subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll both see you in the next one. Take care.
All right.